In this video, I'm gonna teach you the basics of human beatboxing, go over the sounds in beatboxing, and give you some tips to progress faster in beatboxing. Let's go! What's going on, guys? My name is Christian and welcome to my channel where I make all videos related to human beatboxing. By the way, this is kind of a special video because this is also from a fellow Tourishan, so shout out to all students of St. Therese MTC colleges. Okay, so first of all, when learning a skill, it is always necessary to learn the basics of that skill. With that being said, in beatboxing, we have the BTK, also called the kick bass, the hi-hats, and the k-snare. So first will be the kick bass. So a short tip on how to get this sound is to exaggeratedly pronounce the letter B without vocalizing it. B, 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 B. And if that confuses you, just try to tighten your lips and just try to force air out of that middle lip suddenly. Now don't worry if you won't get the sound instantly, because sometimes it will take time. It even took me 5 days on my first try to get that very crispy and very good kick bass sound. And who knows, it might even take you maybe just a day or two. Just try to keep practicing. And the next sound that we will learn will be the hi-hats. For me, the hi-hats is the easiest sound to learn because you're just trying to pronounce the letter T without vocalizing it. T, T, T. And if you try to remove your vocals, T, 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 T. Now if that confuses you, just try to make a hissing sound like how a snake does. S, s. And with the same principle as the kick bass, just try to suddenly push that air where the hiss is coming from in the middle part of your tongue. S. And that is how you get the hi-hats. Okay, so for the final sound of the basics in beatboxing, we will learn the k-snare. And so far, for me, this is the most complicated sound to learn among the three because it is kind of a tricky sound. Okay, so this sound, the k-snare, is kind of different from the kick bass and the hi-hats where you try to force air out. So in the k-snare, you're trying to inhaling air in. So to get this sound, what you want to do is try to stick your tongue onto the roof of your mouth, like this. And the next part is you try to inhale air in the sides of your tongue. And it will sound like this. Now with the same principle with the kick bass and the hi-hats, what you want to do is to suddenly kick the air in. You want to kick the air. You want to kick the air in suddenly. I'm sorry. When I was first practicing the k-snare, I was coughing a lot because I was swallowing saliva in while doing the sound. It may take some time to get used to it, but eventually you will get used to it. Just keep practicing. Now if you can get those three sounds to sound crispy, you can mess with it and make some patterns with it to make it into a beat. And I will put some example down below of how this pattern will look like. As you can see down below, there is a pattern written in there. It is BTK to BTK, which is one of the most basic patterns in beatboxing. And if you try to turn it into a beat or just try to do this pattern, it will sound like this. And if you try to do it continually, it will sound like this. Now the next pattern I will put down below here is BTK to BTK. Now this is kind of a complicated pattern for beginners, and if you want to get this pattern, you will try to practice this pattern for some time, but you can try to perfect this in maybe just one day if you're that into beatboxing. Now for the other sounds in beatboxing, you can learn them, but I would suggest to master the basics first before moving on to the other sounds. Now some other basic sounds in beatboxing that I would recommend for you to learn is the PF snare, the rim shot, the throat bass, and the tongue bass, as these sounds will build a foundation for you to learn some other advanced beatbox sounds in the future. How to practice efficiently. When trying to practice for some other sounds, I would recommend to not practice more than 2 sounds at the same time, because when this happens, when you're trying to practice multiple sounds at the same time, it will give you a harder time to get all those sounds, and eventually you will burn out and you will give up, and you don't want that to happen. For example, if you're trying to practice the PF snare and the rim shot at the same time, be sure to master those 2 sounds before moving on to the other sounds, because I find this to be more effective for me based on my experience. And if you feel your mouth, tongue, or throat getting tired after long hours of practice, just give it a rest. This is not a contest. Just try to be consistent and eventually you will reach your goals. Here are some channels that I would recommend watching tutorials from. Number 1 would be Makoy TV. Makoy is a Filipino beatboxer and is mainly famous for his reaction videos. Now if you go check his channel out, you will see a lot of reaction videos from his channel, as well as tons of tutorial videos for you to learn from. Next YouTuber to check out would be the one where I learned a lot from, which is Korean Effects. I suggest you go check his channel out because there are tons of tutorials right there. Very short, very concise, and direct to the point, and his tutorials only last an average of 2 minutes. Okay, so I'm not gonna make this long. Other YouTubers you can check out for tutorials is 80fits and Rubik Beatbox. I also want to talk about the beatbox community. Now, if you want to immerse yourself among other beatboxers to gain more inspiration, you can join a lot of communities online. Now, there are a lot of communities in various social media such as Facebook, Reddit, WhatsApp, and Discord. Now, Discord is great because you can communicate with other beatboxers in real time via audio chat or video chat. Now, I guess that will be it for this video for today, guys. Now, if you have some other questions or concerns, just go ahead and drop it down in the comments below and I will answer as many questions as I can. Once again, and as always, my name is Christian and see you on the next video.
Time bass goes like